Everyone. I am Barbara Miller. I am a leadership and life coach and also a Lifeway business builder. And I'm here today to talk a little bit about getting unstuck in our business. I'd say we're going to give folks a minute or so to hop on um, to get on, and then I will begin to share my screen. So the way we're going to do things today, we've kind of adopted this on Charities Calls, is we'll go through the little bit of the training topic that we've got, and then we will stop that recording and we will begin the recording for the Q&A portion of today's Connect. So as we're joining in, I'm going to go ahead. And is there anything else, Karen or Kathy, we need to introduce before I go ahead and start sharing my screen? No? Okay, we are good to go. So let me get to getting on that. And let's see here. All right, can everyone see my screen? Hopefully. All right, so today I thought it would be kind of good to talk about getting unstuck in our business. I know there's lots of new people. We may have new people on here and you're not stuck. Yay, yay, you. And at some point in time, it is the nature of human beings to find themselves stuck. Either life is overtaken and we've set aside some priority things to do, or we've gotten so far and our emotions are going up and down and we're just feeling like, oh, I'm not where I want to be. So I thought, well, let's tackle that a little bit and let's talk about it. So feeling stuck in building your Lifeway business, well, there might be different ways that people feel stuck. Maybe you don't have any brand partners signed up under you yet. Notice my word, yet. Maybe you haven't hit that cycling bonus. You haven't gotten your second person in yet, and you're feeling like, oh, I haven't quite got there yet. Maybe you haven't ranked up to manager or ranked up to whatever level it is that you've got your eyes and your dreams set upon. These are all ways that people might feel stuck. They feel like they're not where they want to be just yet. What can we do about it? Well, first, I want to give us a little bit of context. It is not laziness, not lack of motivation, not even capability or ability. Typically, what keeps us held back, what keeps us feeling stuck, is fear of some sort. And fear, whether it is real or imagined, will do something in our bodies called fight, flight, or freeze mode. It is a automatic reaction that our brains and our bodies have. It's not like you can say, I am never going to go to fight, flight, or freeze. Nope, your body, your brain just does that. And typically freezing, I go into inaction, is a normal reaction of emotional fears. You're not going to be eaten by a lion. That's more the fight flight part. Hopefully nobody's going to be eaten by a lion. But we get into the emotional parts and we go into freeze. Now, when I look at, okay, we're building a network marketing business, right? What are the three things that tend to be the most typical ways that we have fear? We have fear of not knowing enough, fear of speaking and looking foolish, or just flat out fear of being rejected. Nobody wants to feel rejected. It is often one of these fears that will keep us from taking the next steps. So let's talk about this a little bit more. First things first, what I know of my training about stress and how to get out of stress, the mind cannot get out of fight, flight, freeze until you help your body release some of those stress hormones. Because once your body's in that, your stress hormones, cortisol, and all kinds of things are running through your body, kind of gets you stuck there. You need a strategy to get out of that in order for you to then go do something about those feelings that got you there in the first place. So I want to do something really quick here, and that's give you a few strategies that, once you're triggered into that stress and you're feeling like I can't do anything, I'm overwhelmed, etc. We all may be in that place to some degree on any given day for any given reason. What we know is anywhere from 10 to 60 seconds of a practice that will get you out of that mode is going to be helpful. So we're going to try a couple of things if you guys don't mind playing along with me, okay? So I'm going to teach you a deep diaphragm breath pattern that is super helpful. It's, it's a 4x4 count of breathing. Let's do it together. What we're going to do, I'll tell you what it is, and then let's do a couple of little reps of that. You're going to breathe in deep through your nose to the count of 4. Then you're going to hold your breath to the count of 4. You're going to release your breath out your mouth to the count of 4. And then you're going to hold your breath to the count of 4 and you repeat. And you could do this for less than a minute and it's going to reboot your body. So let's practice for a second. In through your nose to the count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let it out through your mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is known as box breathing. So you can imagine the box of 4, right? So I'm just going to let you on your own take a few more deep breaths and do some box breathing right now. Let's get ourselves out of any stress mode we might be feeling. Do that 2 or 3 more times. Now, having done a couple of reps of deep breathing, 4x4 count breathing, assess your body. Are you feeling a little less stressed? Hopefully, a little bit. I'm going to teach you a couple of other ones that is about getting out of your head and getting back into your body. The breathing does that, obviously. But there's touch, there's hearing, there's sight. Okay. So find something that is textural. For this exercise, we'll do something that is attached to you. So take and rub 2 fingers together with such depth of attention that you can actually feel the fingertip ridges, your fingerprint ridges on each finger. And just notice that sensation. Now rub both your palms and your fingers, all the fingers together, very lightly. Notice what it feels like. What does your hand feel like to be touched? The ridges, the valleys, all of that. Feel those sensations for just 10 seconds, getting into touching something in your world. I'm one of those people, I like touchy-feely things, and I have these wonderful blankets. And I really focus on what is it, the texture of those blankets or whatever it is. Maybe it's petting your cat or your dog or whatever, some sense of touch. Now we're going to practice a little hearing one. Close your eyes. It's easier to hear when you're not looking at something. But try to find what is the sound that you hear that is the furthest away from you. Maybe it's train, car, school bell. Now, what is the next thing that's a little bit closer to you? And keep coming in a little bit closer, a little bit closer. Maybe you can hear your printer or your computer or your ice maker, something in the house or something in the room, purring of a cat. All the way to get to the point where can you hear yourself breathing? So you're using your sense to get back into your body. And finally, an example is use sight. So take something that you look at all the time. Look at the back of your phone. Notice the textures. Notice any pictures or images. Notice anything about it. Pay particular attention to what you can see to a level of detail you don't typically do. Those are some examples of how you can get out of your head, out of the stress of your head and what you're thinking, get back into the moment and into your body. So, those are some great strategies for helping your body get out of that fight, flight, freeze mode. So, hopefully, those are helpful little techniques for you. Try it. You only need 10 seconds. Some people are really into meditation and they can sit and do that for a long time. But really, what we've proven is less than a minute can shift your body out of stress. Okay. Now, so let's deal with those fears. Let's double click a little bit on the fear of knowledge. That fear, I don't know enough about the product, about the business, about whatever it is. The facts are, you don't actually need to know everything in order to take action and share about the product. You're growing your knowledge over time. Growing your knowledge is 100% in your control. That's a fact. But you don't actually need to know everything in order to begin. So, what is a solution if you find yourself in this grip of fear? Oh, I don't know enough. Well, start with what you do know. And what you know is because you've already learned something. You've learned something from listening to your sponsor, or you've ordered the products and you're using them yourself. You know stuff about it. You've joined some of the groups and you've heard some things, right? Then grow your knowledge by using the resources available to you. Okay. So, what are some of those resources? You've got your back office. There's resources with product info, descriptions, and videos in the store. There's the InTouch app. There's YouTube videos, my favorite. Actually, I get fired up every time I go out and listen to a YouTube by David Schmidt. And he gives such wonderful information, and you can see the depth of his passion and his knowledge. Focus on just one set of patches. Let's go out and learn all about the X39. It is our premier patch. It is the one where we want everyone to get started. Start there, build your knowledge a little bit at a time, understanding the benefits, understanding placement, whatever it is that you are drawn to, start there. Because we know that's where we as a business, we start people in the X39. You don't have to know about all the other patches right away. Start there. Listen to other leaders, listen to, whatever your upline trainings, Zoom calls are, launch meetings are. I've found some folks on Facebook that are doctors who are in the LifeWave business that I listen to. And so use that information, right? And the patched up Telegram channels. There are multiple channels there that we can use. There's the Build the 331. There's our, business at a glance. There are things that you can do to build your knowledge, but you don't have to have a PhD in building this business in order to build the business. We just need to start. So start where you are, meet yourself where you are, and figure out one area that this week you would want to go and build your knowledge in. Start there. And the more you know, the more you can, oh, I can answer that question on a Telegram channel. Let me do that. And you start building and reading and listening, and you will get it organically over time. So, yes, it may be a fear, but it is a fear you absolutely can tackle, and it's 100% in your control to do so. All right. So the next fear, the fear of speaking. Oh my gosh, this is like the number one fear for human beings is I have to speak in public. Well, interestingly enough, we speak all the time in public, right? So the fact is, speaking about this product does not equal I need to have a professional sales pitch all buttoned up that actually would push people away. We simply need to share positives from our perspective. So, what's a solution here? Think about it not about, oh, I need to sell someone on this and I've got to have all the facts and figures and I need to be a professional speaker. No, you don't. Tell your story. Keep it simple. Be authentic. Being authentic draws people in. guess what? People already listen to you. So telling your story about this is not going to make you look foolish. It's actually going to be normal. You talk to people all the time. You talk about what you like. You talk about what you don't like. You talk about that movie, that book. Hey, that hair care thing that I bought the other day, whatever it is. People are used to hearing you tell your story. When it comes to, oh my gosh, but now I've got to talk at some level of depth of whatever about the product and I'm not ready. Okay, go back to, that whole I don't know enough and blend it in here with, and I got to speak about it. The best thing you can do, use the startx39.com website. I have told many a person, I am not a scientist. I can tell you, I love this product. I can tell you what it's done for me. I've got some people in my circle that are very sciencey and they want to know all the data, all the patents, all the things, right? And I'm like, fabulous. Thank God that our upline has provided us with this wonderful tool called StartX39. Share it. Let them do the digging. Let that be where they get a lot of this extra information, right? And I think it was Charity. Someone said to me, when you get back to them, don't ask them, what did you think? Ask them, what did you like about what you saw there? Wow, now I'm in conversation mode. I'm not in sales mode. I'm going to listen to them. What did they like? Oh, yeah, I love that. And here's something we can do, and whatever. It becomes such a more natural conversation. So when we get into our heads about, oh my gosh, I can't do speaking, I'd say you're not making a speech. You're having conversation. And we have conversations 24/7, 365. Remember that you are in conversation with people. Okay. So here's some other things to remember. Recommendations from people like you is actually the biggest factor people use in deciding to buy almost anything, from what book to read, what movies to watch, what snacky snack thing is the new hot raging thing in the store, to, oh, a healthcare wellness product like Lifeway, right? Your perspective is respected, and it's how people decide most things in life, right? You already share your life, your experiences, your likes, your opinions. The patches are just one more thing. It should be natural, not salesy. It should be part of what you talk to people about, and it should just be part of how you share. Hey, here's my life experience. And again, keep it simple and authentic. Storytelling builds trust and interest. It's your story. You get to decide what's the thing that you want to share. Share what you love about the patches. Share what you've experienced, or someone here that you've met in our group, they've experienced. Share what inspires you. Sometimes I just tell people about how inspired I am about David, his integrity, his knowledge, and the way he's running his company, because I would talk about that when I talk about other products as well. How do I feel about that company? If I don't trust that company, I'm not going to be going, hey, buy their thing, their widgety thing. So remember, you're not making a speech. You're just speaking, having a conversation. Now, let's tackle the fear of rejection. Often I'm not confident. People just won't say yes to me, right? So here's the facts. Everything on the planet that you touch, see, read, or own comes from a business that sells a product or a service. Everything in your life you have said yes or no to, well, not no, because it wouldn't be in your life, to a sales offer, either in person or through an advertisement. And you've also said no to many things, but this didn't resonate with you. Doesn't mean that that product or that person who are telling you about it or selling it is unworthy. That's not it. It simply wasn't for you. So no business has 100% yes rate. Therefore, rejection or a no is expected. It's inevitable, and it is not a signal of failure. It is simply someone's decision and choice. It has nothing to do with you, right? So what you need to do is focus, measure your success, your energy on how willing are you to do the work of the business. Well, what is the work of the business? Well, clearly sharing your story about the product, that's part of it. Building your knowledge base, that's part of it. Supporting your team, this team, your colleagues, your peers, managing the administrative tasks and processes that you might have to do related to your business. Separate your worth from the outcome of someone else's purchasing decision. We are all sovereign human beings. We get to say yes or no. And remember, we don't control the finances. Sometimes they're not saying no to you, they can't afford it. Maybe they're not willing to try something new. That's a personality trait for them. We can't make their decision. We can't own that outcome. We can influence their perspective. That's your storytelling. That's your caring approach. That's I care about you. I would feel remiss if I didn't share this with you. And it's for you to decide. I will help you if you decide to say yes, right? That's all we're doing. We're taking an authentic human caring approach. And the other thing that I've learned, and many have learned, is no today does not necessarily mean no forever, because they may watch you. They've got something that's intriguing them in the back of their mind. I'm like, I'm just going to watch and see what happens with this. They may be watching for your results. They may be watching for your team to grow, whatever. And they may reloop later back to you because what you did was plant a seed. You plant seeds. Sometimes you are the waterer of the seed. Sometimes you are the fertilizer of the seed. Sometimes you are the reaper of the seed. But you're the one who can plant the seed and see if it's going to grow. Because it's not always going to grow in the first conversation you have with people. It may take some time. So re-look at your perspective on what is actually rejection. A no is not a rejection of you. A no is simply a purchase decision. Changes things. It changes perspective on it. Okay, so my last slide here. How do we move into action? Because really getting unstuck is about taking another action. So there's a few things that I'll lay out here for you as possibilities to do. One, set a personal challenge. For example, turn on an action timer for 30 minutes and do something, anything related to your business. Maybe it's dating your prospect list. Maybe it's making a few follow-up calls from people you've talked to in the past. Maybe you need to feel like you've got your handle on printing some handouts or making some sample envelopes. What are some of those resources you might need ahead of time? Call that prospect that you've been thinking about. Do anything. One step puts you in motion, and motion makes momentum. So just challenge yourself, personal challenge. Another one, set up a routine. Sometimes life just gets in our way. So I like to do time blocking, on my calendar, 10 to 12 every day. I'm going to do XYZ related to my business. And maybe Mondays is, when I'm going to do some filing and I'm going to do some calls. And Tuesday is going to be when I create my packets or whatever it is. You get to choose what is the time block and what does it mean for your business? What are you going to do? What we find is true is when you set up a routine, that becomes expected by yourself and maybe your family, and you can protect that time, actually do something. We protect our time to, I don't know, watch certain TV shows. We protect our time to potentially take our kids somewhere or whatever, go to church, whatever it is. We're already time blocking our calendar. Just add something about your business into your time blocking. For some of us, deadlines are important. I'm one of these people. If I don't have a deadline, it just keeps getting moved to my next to-do list, next to-do list, next to-do list. So give yourself some deadlines. Goals without deadlines can just become dreams and desires, right? In my head, I see myself doing it is not the same as actually getting it done, right? So have a deadline in line, it's like making yourself a promise or any other promise you'd make to someone else. Keeping your words important. So keep your word to yourself. Make yourself a promise with your deadlines. And then another big one. Declare your intentions, your goals, and your deadlines out loud. It's an act of putting something out into the world, right? And it gives you the opportunity to hold yourself accountable, to have someone that you're sharing it with. Could be your life partner, it could be your upline or your mentor, it could be anybody, but put it out into the world, makes it real at a different level, right? So those are my 4 strategies, tips, and tricks for once you've dealt with some of the fear, how to move into action. Okay, so with that, we can stop the recording of this section. I'm going to stop.